Howdy hey everyone, and in the past I've made 2 videos about turning Ultra Beasts into regular Pokemon. Check those out after this one, since those are the best videos, performance-wise, of mine. And we're back for part 3. So, without further ado, let's hop in. So the first Ultra Beast I'm redesigning is Kartana. I know I've said this in every video so far, but this has to be one of my favorites. Just the idea that something so small can be so powerful, along with a really clean design and appealing color palette. The hard part about redesigning it, though, is that it doesn't look at all like a grass type or much of a steel type, but that's the appeal of the Ultra Beasts. They go against the status quo of the types. They're weird. I went over this in my last video, but an example of this is Buzzwole and Pheromosa going against the normal views of real animals they're based on. Mosquitoes are weak, so Buzzwole is strong. Cockroaches are ugly, so Pheromosa is beautiful, and so on. For Kartana, the steel types are usually sturdy and bulky, while Kartana is flimsy like paper and frail like paper. So to fix this, the grass type problem, we can make it actual blades of grass. It's already tiny, like grass, so hopefully it'll work. So even though Kartana has the proportions of a fully evolved Pokemon, since it's an Ultra Beast like the rest of them, because of its size, I'm going to make it small, kind of like a, well, it was already small. I'm going to make it a pre-evolution with pre-evolution-like proportions. It's going to be a tiny ninja-like Pokemon, as opposed to the samurai-like original. It's going to have leaf blades and roots for legs. It's going to keep its weird X-like face, but instead it's gonna look more like a mask, more grass-type colors. This part was hard because it doesn't have any green on it, so I kind of had to improvise. Here is Kartana, the drawn sword Pokemon, a grass and steel type. The sword arms are incredibly sharp. They use their small size to their advantage, hiding in foliage, sword arms facing up, waiting for a prey to step on them. Since it can't have regular abilities anymore, I gave it Sharpness, Keen Eye, and a hidden ability, Inner Focus. Just seemed to make sense. Now going from the smallest Ultra Beast to the biggest, we're gonna do Kartana's counterpart, Celesteela. Personally, it looks like Celesteela should swap types with Kartana, with Celesteela looking like it's made of bamboo, so grass, and Kartana looks light, along with its wings, look like a flying type. That's probably on purpose. As for what makes it not fit in, probably its size and weight and bulky design. Celesteela is crazy heavy and big, not light and agile like other flying types. It's a big old bamboo rocket ship, and it makes sense when you consider it's based on the story of the bamboo cutter, where an old couple finds a baby in a bamboo stalk, similar to Celesteela's baby form, and apparently from the moon. So, moon baby, bamboo, rocket ship, makes sense. It's also pretty feminine with long hair, and so I'm gonna turn it into one of those feminine-looking Pokemon Game Freak is so obsessed with. I'll add magical girl elements since they're superheroes. Superheroes fly, and flying type, also Sailor Moon, makes sense. So I'm starting off with the blobby original first shapes, as I always do. I'm turning Celesteela's kimono-looking body into a skirt or a dress to fit more with the magical girl design. Instead of big bamboo detached arms, they're gonna be just regular arms. Instead of like those big rocket fingers, it's just gonna have regular hands. And yeah, it's gonna have regular hair. Yeah, it's pretty humanoid, but it's gonna go along with the Pokemon like Gardevoir. Please don't. No, just don't. Giving it Celesteela's colors, black face because it fit with the patterns more. Here is Celesteela, the launch Pokemon, a steel flying type. They are observed flying high over bamboo forests at high speeds during night, while blasting energy from its arms. While unclear, it seems to have some connection to the moon. And finally, Nihilego. Nihilego is essentially the poster child for the Ultra Beasts. It has the most story prevalence, aside from the Light Trio, a cool fusion with Lusamine, and most importantly, a type that doesn't make sense. See, while Nihilego is a poison type, that makes sense, a lot of jellyfish are toxic, but also rock. At first glance, you might think that's weird because jellyfish are soft and squishy, but rocks are hard and rigid. While you would be correct, this is an alien we're talking about. The origin of its rock typing comes from the glass jellyfish, so its clear body actually has a glass-like texture. But since I want to keep types the same for the most part, I'm still going to use the rock type, but I'll make it a little more obvious using the crystal-like structures that are found all over the ultra-deep sea, Nihilego's home planet, and make them its stingers, float around its head, and its eyes. Oh yeah, it's gonna have a regular face now. Pretty much obvious since it's gonna, look like a regular Pokemon, and those usually have faces. Starting off with the big bulbous head that Nihilego already has, and then roundish stingers. Like I said, diamond crystal-like eyes. Instead of the 6 stars that are going around Nihilego's head, it's only going to have 2 on each side, so to make room for eyes, but also make it less cluttered. I'm going to keep the hat and hair motif that Nihilego already has going on, but I'm going to dial it down a bit so it makes a bit more sense. As you can see, there's crystals floating around inside of its head. The tentacles, it's not going to have as many. Yeah, it's going to have Nihilego's color scheme, as well as the purple from the crystals. It's, instead of its whole head being transparent, it's just a little bit. Here is Nihilego, the parasite Pokemon, a poison rock type. They live at the bottom of oceans. It feeds off of people and Pokemon's brain waves, and the sharp stones within its body are used to channel its neurotoxins. And that's it for today, as well as this series as a whole. It was a blast making the Pokemon for this, even if some designs are better than others. And who knows, maybe this series isn't over. The Light Trio, their forms and Prevos, are technically Ultra Beasts. Maybe if this video does well, I'll make a part 4, redesigning Cosmog, Cosmoem, Solgaleo, Lunala, Regular, Duskmane, Dawnwayne, and Ultra Necrozma. That's 8 Pokemon, and not just any Pokemon, legendaries, some of the hardest to draw. I won't do this for free though. I'd say if this video gets 15,000 views. That's the same amount as both Ultra Beasts videos combined, the previous ones at least. You might think this is crazy, and yes, but this would be my most challenging video yet. But thanks for staying to the end, and since you did, you might like the other 2 videos. But that's it for now. See ya, and stay safe.